Hello everyone, I'm the Spectre, and I just finished episode 0.5, which just went over some of the changes that Black Reliquary's made to the, I think you would call this the I think, if I recall correctly, this would be called the tactical layer. We're about to go into some changes made to the strategic layer, and our first mission with the unusual suspects. Not the usual suspects, the unusual.
As the age-old saying goes, how much is your life worth?
So, this is one change they've made. They've changed quest lengths. So, quest durations have been adjusted to be slightly longer, and now all missions include one more firewood than before. Be sure to supply yourself in anticipation of more fights, blockages, and hunger. Short quests are strong, less experience for less experienced or prepared heroes. Long story short, every dungeon is longer by a bit, and you always get a firewood. So, camping skills are always important in some sense. Unlike Dark Dungeon 1, where short missions didn't have firewood, and then, they were short. Now we have to prepare for a lot more. Now, I have actually fully forgotten exactly how long, but because I fear hunger checks like any good player of Darkest Dungeon should, I am taking all the food on offer right now. I know it's the tutorial, and I think it might be a pre-seeded dungeon rather than random, but Nah, I'm not risking that. You can get fucked over by hunger checks way too quickly. I will take 2 shovels. I will take that many torches. I'll take 14 torches. I'll take 2 keys. It also, if I'm not mistaken, they also increase the inventory size a little bit by a row, I think. I will take 2 of each of these things for either curio interactions or what we're dealing with in the dungeon, because I honestly do not remember. We should be fine with that, I think. I'm not sure, and I should be playing it safe, but want my money. I might be regretting this. Treasure is not found in darkness, but rather because of it, yes, as the torch mechanic goes. Anywho, in the catacombs. Catacombs? Is both correct? I think both is actually correct. Weird thing, the English language. Okay, let's see. So complete 100%. There's our abandon. Affiliation, sorry. I went over it in 0.5, but long story short, we have religious, pagan, and faithless, and that just affects some abilities. And they just randomly pick that on creation with a little bit of, a few classes having restrictions. So let's look at the changes. Radiant Light plus dodge, that's standard, but also, double plus dodge, but also a double plus Lost Legion spawn chance, which, if I recall correctly, Lost Legion is just something that can spawn in any dungeon if you have the light up. So it is I over-prepared, I think, but also, I think this is actually seeded, because I think I remember this one. Yes. We looked at the hero info last time. Now, let us see. Yeah. Tutorial fight.
Valley will be different from what you are accustomed to.
Yes. Okay. One of my favorite changes in Black Reliquary we get to now. So, preparation is paramount. Enemies and allies alike take advantage of a moment to brace themselves before the first round of combat. Accuracy for ordinary attacks is halved, and critical hits are impossible. Some abilities, however, can ignore the accuracy reduction of the prep round, and can be used for initiating strike. Additionally, certain hero skills have their effects altered during the prep round, so be sure to read over your hero's skill descriptions. First roll! I'm sorry, but long story short, this just makes it so that debuffing skills are more powerful. They're already decently powerful, but now, since you can't blitz things down, it's even more important. You can't blitz things down because obviously everything's half likely to hit, which is usually enough to just make it miss automatically, almost guaranteed. But also, that little thing there was because first round, first combat in the start of this game, they triggered the ability to get more stress on them from one of their quirks. But anywho, since our Amber Blight ignores the prep rounds reduction, we might as well use that since everyone's healed and we don't need to heal. Dynamic quirks. I believe this is also something that might have been slightly changed. Some quirks develop as a result of ongoing patterns against blah, 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 blah. Basically, long story short, heroes can now get quirks in the middle of dungeons just from hitting or being hit by a certain type of faction. And what that means, and the specific quirks they get are linked to it. So, like, if they hit a lot of... I'm not going to pronounce that. I'm just going to say beast. If they hit a lot of beast enemies, they might get more damage against beast enemies. If they get hit by a lot of beast enemies, they might get scared of beast enemies. Also, Amber Blight, sorry. We should probably check. So, Amber Blight is one of the stat things they've done to just change. I know there's a lot of talking in this. There's a lot of front-loaded information. I probably could scope this out better, but Black Reliquary has a lot in it, okay? Amber Blight. Triggers on action on non-killing attack, debuff self, minus 15% damage. On friendly targeted abilities, debuff self, 15% damage received. Also, if I recall correctly, this doesn't go away. It just stays, unlike other debuffs, which usually go away after 3 turns. But important thing about if I recall correctly, this is... You read a debuff in reference to the creature. Meaning, if they attack us and don't kill us, they deal less damage. They get a debuff for less damage, or have a chance to, I think, because I think it does roll against their defenses. And if they, like, heal an ally or something instead on their turn, they take more damage. So Amber Blight can be both useful on their damage dealers as well as their supports. Let's also Bellow, because this ignores the reduction. I could guard, but because it's only one person, I don't think I need to. They ignored it. You will take advantage of the thing. Yeah, see what I mean with the Amber Blight. They now deal even less damage. Bombard, funnily enough, can't only Bombard can hit this person. I don't have anything that... I'll use this Bombard, because yeah, okay, that hit. That's good. But now they are even weaker. Barbaric Yop, instead of stunning, will just make them weaker. Make them weak! I will Sacrificial Stab, because no one is injured on our side. Ah! Why do you have self-worth issues? You almost just crit the man to death immediately. You are the healer! Loot in Black Reliquary inventories had some changes to better integrate with the changes made to other systems. On top of 2 additional inventory slots, some items such as food, gold, and gems have had their stack size increased. Additionally, gems themselves are worth much more than before. As for the loot changes, the relics, previously heirlooms, are now obtained in much higher numbers in their specific dungeons to make sure you pick your missions wisely. Long story short, translation, you can carry more shit home, and heirlooms, specific types of heirlooms are easier to farm. In this case, we have Makata. It's like Matak or Mataka. Can't remember if that is a pronounced stage. And Valor Marks as some of our heirlooms. Oh, it's just a hallway and a catacomb. You're fine. Vendors! A rare innovation of Room Curious. Vendors accept only a specific type of item and offer valuables in exchange. So, just new type of Room and Curio. Rather than interacting normally, we interact by trading stuff. If I recall correctly, this one did show this. Yeah, we purchase a decent assortment of trinkets. I'd say that was worth. Now, let's see who we want to have each one. I don't want to stack all of these on one person, and I can't anyway. I can only stack 2, but I still want to split these up. So, Charm of Order. More protections, less curse received. I think that's best on Barristan because they can guard. So this effectively affects 2 people rather than 1. Or can. Charm of Rage is more damage and more crit. Charm of Primnity is more accuracy and more speed. Charm of Growth is more max heal and more healing received. I'm going to put this on the Hellion, because the Hellion is typically in the front lines getting hit more, as well as they are pagan, and our main healer heals more to pagan, so that will just stack more bonuses onto it, so that hopefully we don't get fucked by the RNG as much from their healing. I think also both the Charm of Premnity and the Charm of Rage should go on the Marksman, because mainly I'm going to be wanting to Amber Cursed and Weird Reconstruction and only use these for cleanup. I might even switch out one of these for Demon's Pull, funnily enough. But I could see Primality going on them, but I feel like the extra damage and crit combined with the extra accuracy and speed on the Musketeer will lead for a better outcome overall. Now, we do have to complete 100% of rune battles, meaning we could have to just go to both these runes anyway. But in case we don't, I'm going to go ahead and try and decide which path I want to take, because path planning is just a part of Darkest Dungeon you must accept. So if I go down here, then I go across to here, then I go up, then I go down again, then I go right, back, and down. I think that's the path. If we get a scout, and if we get a scout, that makes it better to have not, just a general thing. But if we get a scout that makes it better to not go there, then I will heed it. God damn you, Trap!
This land is filled with unseen dangers.
I know. Can you not target the person who has self-worth issues with more stress? Please? Please? Okay, stone container. It is locked. I wondered if a key would work. Money, or sorry, I believe these are all gems technically, and a heirloom.
Our foes think themselves indomitable. Teach them the truth.
Oh, also, for anyone wondering why, despite this obviously being a debuff, you know, having the accuracy and can't crit, it is counted as a buff when it is applied, and for all intents and purposes, that's just because there are skills in the game that can clear debuffs. So if you have it counted as a buff, it's just a workaround to make sure it can't be removed, basically. Because I don't think there are any that cleanse that. None do those. Levantine Firewalker, decent protections, dodge and speed. Odd chance to hit them is 100%, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm going to say this right now. If I'm not mistaken, a 95% chance to hit in Darkest Dungeon is not a 95% chance to hit. It is actually a 100% chance to hit. It just refuses to put that in. So you don't need to reach a 100% chance to hit anything. You need to reach a 95% chance to hit, if I am recalling correctly. And they haven't changed anything, obviously. I am going to Amber Curse this guy, because the Amber Curse will just last long enough to matter, basically. They have enough health. And let's see on what else. Oh, right, I have smoke screen that I have smoke screen I can now do. I don't think I want the move resist. I think I want to lower their prots, and I believe that was speed and prots if I can. Yeah. No! Don't you dare guard the fucking Firewalker! He throws fire, or walks through fire. He might not throw it. I don't know what's more. Repressurize. Okay. What was that buff again? Horror duration, damage, and armor piercing. So Barristan, even if I use guard, will only have 5% prots against whatever they're about to do. They get more damage, and they have a longer horror duration. Now, for anyone wondering what horror is, it is a stress overtime. Some games have damage overtimes, and this game does as well. But that's also a stress overtime. And stress is bad, kids. That's why hustle culture sucks. I'm gonna Amber Curse this one. Amber Blight, sorry. Because if they're guarding, I can't hit this guy unless I hit both of them, so I need to kill this guy first. Do you have armor? You have 30% protections. Let's just use a standard shot to ignore all that. Usually I wouldn't be able to shoot you, but you guarded someone. Horrific blaze. Yep, there's the fire. Oh, and there's the horror. Well, bright side, they deal less damage. So that is 16 stress total on that. Yeah, that's... I'm gonna use if it bleeds as well. Let me... They have a 30% bleed resist, so... 70% chance this goes through. Yeah, they're bleeding through. I did that because their procs were high enough. I don't think the other one would have done as much damage. I didn't do the calculations for it, though, so that might be on me. I could stun them out of it. This does 4 to 7 to them. This does 8 to 14. If this hits, they're dead because of the bleed. I'm gonna roll this. Okay. So that one's dead. Amber Curse is not needed. The Sacrificial Stab. 90% chance to hit, 20% chance to crit, and yeah, I'll do that. Rather than the heal yet. Because weirder construction to heal little amounts of health sucks. Because you basically just hem in the amount it can do. Since it can already has that wide of a range and can do nothing, and can harm you actually if you do nothing and get the bleed. In general, keeping it for when you have bigger differences and can get value out of the higher rolls, I find to be better. Standard shot would be a bleed. Concussive would be stun. I will lower their stun resist. Maybe I can get a knock through with Ariston. I should say attempt to lower their stun resist. I don't think. Look at the debuffs! Look at the debuffs! I want to point out too, those debuffs are mostly from round run still because of the free turn thing. They're taking max damage at the moment, so I will just hack them. Yes. Yes! Yes! Crush. I think I can get, with 3 people attacking, I can get through this amount of health on my next turn. So I won't use Crush, because Crush won't really change any of the breakpoints. But I will use Rampart, because even though it's a relatively low chance to stun, it's 35%. If it stuns, we don't have to deal with this guy again until they're dead. Won't always go through. But they pressurized anyway, so they also get the debuff for more damage taken. So their protections went back up. Still might be. Oh, that was max damage. That was good. That was good. That was good. I do think, yeah, hack as long as this hits. By the way, this series is going to be a lot of me talking tactics. Like, I'm trying to analyze this, and what's going through my mouth, like, because it's a tactics game that I'm nowhere near good at anyway, my brain is, like, delinking the part of my brain that's, like, conversational talk, and just going straight to tactics, and those words are not words of, like, oh, this is what I thought to say. No, that's just my literal thought process. Like, it's skipping anything in between my thoughts and my brain. It's just leaking out of my mouth. Anywho, torchlight changes. The light is fading. The current torch level affects which enemies you may run into. The darker it gets, the more likely it is to run into challenging enemies, which offer up greater rewards for defeating. Right-click on a torch from an inventory to boost light back up, or hit T. Likewise, certain enemies will also only appear in bright light, although they do not give much loot. I need to let the light die at some point so I can... I think I'm gonna camp in this room. I think I'll camp in this room. That's about a midway point, and we should be able to get the most out of our buffs and our healing. Levantine Sniper. Also, why do all you Levantine people have to have prots? Why can't you just let me take all of my damage and deal it to your... I forgot to reposition. Oh well. Fellow gets more impactful because it can hit more people. I think it's fine for me. The Musketeer can hit him. I think with at least if it bleeds, if I'm not mistaken. The Hellion, forgot the name, can hit them. Barristan can hit them with Crush, and because of all that, and because if I recall correctly, the sniper, I mean, it's a sniper, it probably does the most damage, so I'm going to target them first, so I'll Amber Curse them first. We can Barbaric Yop to just weaken the front two as well. I know it weakens the Hellion as... it doesn't weaken them, sorry. It weakens in the normal one, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to lower their move resist. I do want to debuff their prots. Because the more damage I can get through, the quicker I can kill them. And it's on the one I sworn, fuck it! I should have known they would do that. Like, I only know about Train Slash and Sworn Duty. And it seems like those won't be their only moves. And because the accuracy reduction, of course they're going to do Sworn Duty at least once. That's on me. So I should have probably targeted this guy or this guy. Probably this guy because I know I would be able to hit them even if they didn't guard. So I probably should have hit this guy with the Amber Blight first in the case of the sniper. Because they would have guarded. As I said, word vomit of tactics. I will Rampart this person. If the stun goes through, the guard is broken. So, no, nothing went through. Do I Amber Curse this person, or do I just stab them? 7 to 12, this does 4 damage. I think I Amber Curse it because it shouldn't change the breakpoints. Fall silent. Ah! They shadow bomb at us! Ah! Stop hitting my occultist! I will say they have the most prots still, but they do have more damage, and this pierces prots still, so let's shoot you and try and kill you. That'll do! What's your crit buff again? More crit. So their crit is more crit. So if you start critting, you won't stop critting. If you have some luck, which I do not. Let's, since I'm gonna be dealing with this one later, I mean, I could start building the Amber Blight, but it's safer, especially because they start with more stress, and if they get knocked down, even Death's Door, they'll get more stress. So let me weird reconstruct you. 2. Bleed? Ah, no bleed. We're lucky. Let me just hack them because they don't have any protection. Ah! Oh, look. Oh, right. Dumb. I don't need to focus on them anymore. This is one of the reasons why deep positioning is so important. But because this is a ranged unit in the front line, and there's no space, like, there's no third space here anymore, they will use a move to try and retreat, but won't be able to retreat. They probably don't have any useful abilities left. They probably just have that retreat if they have to use it then. Unfortunately, I have to hit them with the musket. I can use Bombard. Ah, Bombard breaks guard with concussive. I need to remember that. Or standard, actually, not even concussive. Let me just debuff them while also killing that just as a side effect. Try and slash. Ah, stop hitting Boudica! Let's see if you stun. No, you still don't stun. Just hack at you. Nothing real special. Let's try bleed. Oh no. They didn't give you a Vestal first. They had to give you an inconsistent healer. Let's just lower their chances to hit since that's one of the most effective things they can do. I'm gonna try the stun again, because I really need to get some healing going. Good. Yeah. Stuns get harder. Oh, another change, if I recall correctly, that Reliquary made. So, Darkness Dungeon made this change to that update a while ago. Long time ago. Like, pretty close to after release, if I recall correctly. But, after someone gets stunned, they get a large amount of stun resist for 2 turns, just so they don't get chain stunned to death. Mainly for bosses, if I recall correctly, is the main reason they added that. Because chain stunning was quite popular. But also, I believe this is Black Reliquary specifically, they get stun resist for the rest of the battle. A lower amount, obviously, only 10%. meaning that eventually you just can't stun them anymore. So there's not even any, like, weird mix-ups you can do anymore to permanently lock someone down with stun. You do eventually have to deal with them. Yay, a crit for 10 healing! I will accept that. It didn't bleed as well, so that's good. Oh, crit the corpse. Oh, also, sorry, that crit, by the way, on killing the other one was very important, because critting meant they didn't leave a corpse, which is what allowed that sniper to never be able to do another thing useful. I will just kill you. Gods. Where's my water? I'm gonna need my water. I've been talking. If you can't tell, I've been talking a lot. And my throat can feel it. Okay, armor piercing. Just as a general 50% armor piercing. So 50% of procs ignored, if I'm reading that correctly. Either that or it's 15% up 15%. Either way, it's procs ignored, which is good. I will put this on Boudica, because they are effectively our secondary damage. And the reason they are secondary damage is simply because our Musketeer has the ability to ignore protections, and we're dealing with things with protections, while Boudica does not. So yeah, that's the reason, is because one of them can ignore protections and the other can't. So now that one can ignore at least some protections, they still are secondary damage, but they're good secondary damage. This looks like blood. Encrusted sarcophagus. A sarcophagus untouched for centuries. That looks like something you'd see in the Crimson Court with the blood and the... Is it bad? My first thought, by the way, is let's smash it with a shovel. And the only thing stopping me from testing that is legitimately that I don't know if there are going to be any obstructions on these paths. And if there are two of them, especially, that's really bad. You know what? Let's use some cleansing salt. No! That was bad. Less virtue chance for 4 battles, and some stress. So, I don't need to write this down in my notepad. My notepad is for different things, because it keeps track of what you've used to interact with certain curios. But, note to self! Do not cleansing salt a tomb. I thought it looked crusty and could need some consecration. Nah. No. I forgot. This isn't, whatever god that salt is tied to does not like that religion, apparently. That was a bad. There's probably a fire. Also, we didn't have to go to that room, but we didn't have to go to the room for completing the quest, but obviously we couldn't have known that because we didn't scout it. We didn't have any information on what that room was. If that room was a room battle, and I had to gone all the way down here and then back up, it would have been so taxing on our resources. And with enough hunger checks, that would have just been really bad. I know it's the first mission, but you gotta build your fucking, whatever they are. Habits! Early. Surprised. Enemy surprise has been adjusted. It is now a fixed 15% chance, in addition to delaying enemy actions. It now applies a 1-turn stumble, and reduces enemy accuracy by another 50%. So... the fact they say reduces by 50% rather than, makes all enemy attacks miss or something like that, makes me think that it's just 25% chance. Actually, it explains it here. This makes moves that would normally perform during the prep round have a 50% less chance of hitting, while other moves have their accuracy reduced to a 5-hit minimum. So it does make most miss. But the prep rounds just have a 50-50 chance, while everything else is taken down to the minimum. And for those who don't know, it is impossible in Dark Extension, as far as I know, to guarantee a miss. Just like the 95 to 100 jump we talked about, there is also a 5% just limit, where that is the lowest your accuracy can go. You always have a 5% chance to hit. You can always get that natural 20, I guess, is the idea. Certain enemy factions, specifically those found in low light, are immune to being surprised as well. And by the way, it is now a fixed 15% chance. I think that's in reference to the Torchlight, if I recall correctly. The Torchlight used to adjust stun surprise chance. I'm not sure if there are still trinkets that affect that. that's obviously not as clear, because fixed, it can be very fluid in games when you get trinkets and stuff in the mix. Oh, it's a brawly boy. He going to punch our shit in. So we have to choose now. We either deal with the grunt first, who is going to protect one of the two, or we debuff someone and hope the grunt doesn't guard that person so we can deal with them. I think, I'm not sure if the AI is this smart, but just in case it is, or we get unlucky, that it will guard whoever we debuff because they're considered weaker. So I'm going to debuff the grunt because we're still going to need to deal with them regardless, and eventually, and they, again, probably would guard the person anyway, so we'd have to deal with them anyway. I'm actually also going to write down on my little notepad, if curse, choose grunt. I'll know what that means later, if I can read it. That's what my notepad is for, by the way. Tactical things, so I, you know, can be tactical. Let's also, we don't want to debuff their move resist. Let's debuff their prots and accuracy on this backline. Good, that hit both of them. Let's also debuff their dodge speed and have them receive more crits. Oh, that hit everyone! Oh, good times indeed. Let's also barbaric you up so they have less chances to dodge and deal less damage. As long as they got the damage one, I'm pretty happy. Oh! That's also another reason we shouldn't have picked the snipers. Because of stumble, there was more likely than not a chance that, I think they were actually guaranteed to have to use their retreat. Also, because of all that position, you saw what happened there with stumble. Like, that's what stumble can do for you. It can really, really mess people up. Also, obviously, on our side, it can mess us up if we're not careful. Yeah. I might have wanted to Amber Blight there, because I still had two others, but that person has to retreat, and this person is about to do some bad shit. That person is about to do some bad shit, and Boudica is relatively low, so I'm going to guard Boudica. Because the champion sounds like they're going to wreck our shit a bit. You can see, yep, we killed the grunt, so we don't need to worry about any guarding shenaniganery. We don't need to debuff them again for a little bit. So now we can just do a shot against someone. This would kill in 2 rounds if we got the max. No, it wouldn't. I think I do just want to kind of do the armor piercing. Is there... Wait, there's one of these that ignores riposte. Bombard ignores riposte. The reason I'm thinking about this is, if I can get rid of the champion and somehow get rid of this corpse... No, that's too long a bow to draw. I'd be wasting actions. I think. I don't have anything to clear corpse manually. I don't have Demon's Pull. Maybe it's the right move, but I'm going to go after the sniper first. We'll see if this is the wrong move. Well, we'll see if this is the move that works, I should say. Not necessarily wrong, because wrong moves can still pan out if you're lucky enough. More damage taken. That is not good. If I recall correctly, riposte only triggers on attacks. Let's see. Oh, right, that does damage. That is an attack. That's just on me. Oh, also, important thing to note here, actually. Amber Blight does trigger on a riposte. That's what that debuff symbol was there, if I'm not mistaken. I will also just send out another standard shot.
Obstacle is removed.
Go. They're dead. So now we just have the champion to deal with. As always, inevitably with any game like this, getting bodies off the field is usually more important than getting a very particular body off the field because of action economy. Excluding, obviously, things like something having multiple actions. Do you remove... You don't remove that. Their stun resist is stupid high. I do think... I want to bellow just to see what happens, to make sure... Yeah, okay, riposte doesn't trigger off of that. Boudica will attack, and they miss. And it's a dodge anyway, so I guess that worked out. Oh, it's a dodge. Good. What is their... I can't remember. I would have wished I could have seen what their accuracy was at that point. They have no defenses, so we're just going to hack at them. They have no defenses, so I don't need to do a... I'm going to inflict the... I'm going to inflict the bleed. Because it should confirm from anyone else. I didn't do the math on it. I'm just going to kill them. And I'm going to kill them in this case rather than going for a heal, specifically because I'm going to be resting after this, which should heal. So, let's firewood. We're also firewooding here to reset the torch. Save torches. Camping is 2 phases, meal phase and skill phase. And here's an important thing. First off, meal phase, you need food to camp. The more food you eat, the more you heal, and the more stress you recover. The skill phase is you have a certain number of respite points, and you use skills depending on the skills that your people have to give buffs in future fights, heal, etc., etc. It doesn't say it here also, but as in normal Darkest Dungeon, you can be ambushed in the night, and there are skills that some heroes can use to prevent the ambush. It's not guaranteed, it is just a chance. So you can occasionally risk using another buff skill rather than preventing an ambush, if you so desire. But additionally here, something they in Black Reliquary, when camping under the sun of the exposed interior, ambush resistance is not necessary. Long story short, what this means is, there are some missions in Black Reliquary that are both outside rather than being inside, but also that are both either in the day or in the night. And the ones that are in the day and outside, the ones that are outside and in the day, I should say, you can't be ambushed during, so you do not need ambush prevention during those specific missions. Let's feast. We have enough food because I overstocked apparently. I worry about hunger checks more than anything because you can get into a death spiral with something like that. Champion's ego. Okay, so let's go over some of the standards. Hobby for healing stress on self, and hobby and wound care are just some standard encouragement. Okay. For those who don't know skills, I'm going to quickly run through these. There are some generics. There are 4 generic skills for camping, and then there are, I think, 3 per class. Yeah. There are 4 generic skills, and then there are 4 per class, and they only get 3 out of the 4 generics depending on their class. We have to unlock them to get access to some, but the generic ones are hobby, which heals stress on themselves. Can be good. Wound care, which heals anyone but them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, anyone but them, by 15% and cures bleeding and blight. I didn't mean to click that. I just wanted to end it. But there's encourage, which heals stress on a companion, and there is pep talk, which reduces the stress received by an ally. And then everyone has their unique ones. Scout might actually be a generic one, I'm not sure. Scout is a time cost of 2 with extra scouting chance for a few battles. We're close enough to the end that scouting chance doesn't change anything we do, apart from getting hit by a few traps. Champion's ego is healing stress, but on attack miss for 4 battles, they can gain stress. So if you miss 10 shots, then this is bad. Also, it says their debuffs are incurable, so you can't cure them. That goes back to what I was talking about earlier with the prep round stuff. Unspeakable Commune prevents nighttime and self-only prevent. I do want to say, this formatting, I understand kind of why it exists, but I never like it. Self-only prevents nighttime ambush. This means you can't be nighttime ambushed. That's what that translates to. But for some reason, it's formatted as if only Alzhard would be protected, which would actually be worse. Because then, if you got ambushed, they would just be out of the fight and everyone else would be in the fight. I'm not the only one who sees that, right? Anywho, but it also inflicts horror, which is just stress. In this case, 2 stress for 3 turns if they're not pagan for your allies. So if you're using this as your night ambush prevention, then obviously you want all pagans. We don't have that, but I do think we're going to have to use that. So 6 stress to all people that aren't pagans, so to these 2. Which is part of the reason I didn't want to use hobby yet. Actually, it's horror, so it wouldn't go through. Never mind. It was a mistake, but it wasn't that big of a mistake. Instruction is not Barristan. 1 companion, 10 accuracy, and 6 speed for 4 battles. Decent buffs. Find supplies. This might also be generic. They might have gotten some more generic ones. Find supplies. Self-only. Produce a random supply item. Now, random supply item, if I recall correctly, is literally just anything you can buy from the provisioner. Specifically, if I recall correctly, the provisioner. No trinkets or anything, just things like that. I will go ahead and unspeakable commune. Yeah, that's worrying. I mean, I guess it is. They are an occultist, but still. I have a few more points. I am going to produce a supply item, just because. It's more food. Party... Oh, sorry, I forgot to bring up Revel. Party, less accuracy and less speed for 4 battles, but heals 20 stress and makes stress receive 4 battles, because drunk. Let's instruct the sharpshooter to be faster and more accurate, just to guarantee their hits. That should make it either very close or actually guaranteed, especially with our debuffs, that they hit. And making something a guaranteed hit is more important a lot of times than making something like from 80 to 90% chance to hit. Because there's still the chance of losing. Like, the difference between 99% and 100% accuracy, or in this case 94 and 95, is literally infinite. Because it takes you from having a chance of missing to never having a chance of missing. So it is a literal infinite difference between other percentages. Granted, that doesn't always shake out in tactics, because if only one person can hit and everyone else is missing like crazy, you might want to work on that. You know what? Let's scout just so we don't get hit by traps, or might not get hit by traps.
Our path is revealed. March on.
Because traps can be annoying. So let us see. Stop getting stressed! Seriously. Also, goddamn, has it apparently been a while since I've talked this long, considering my throat's gone through. For reference, I did 0.5 and 1 back-to-back, so this has been like a good hour and 30, about an hour now, I think, just over an hour, of non-stop talking. Some abandoned equipment. I don't think we can use anything on this. I think we just take stuff.
Be gentle. For sale or for study, these artifacts are precious.
I like these artifacts. Honing oil as well, I believe gets a damage buff. No! Okay, we're seeing more of the Levantine, whatever. So we have our Grunt, but we also have a Thaumaturge, which is a magic man of some sort, and we have a Commander, who I can only imagine will be doing commanding shit. But also, the Commander, you can tell it's the Commander because the buff isn't on them as well. But the Commander is giving out a buff to everyone of 10 more accuracy and 20% move resist to all their allies. So taking them out first does weaken everyone else. But going back to what I said before with the Grunt, like, if the Grunt protects the Commander, especially with it being 50-50 on who they protect, at least as far as I know, I want to get rid of the Grunt first, because breaking guard, is it? I can't remember. I think I have a guard break in here somewhere, don't I? Yeah. Bombard does break guard, so maybe not now they're thinking about it. You know what? I will target the Commander first. Because leaving people that can massively buff people is usually a bad idea. No! You damn motherfucker! Fuck you! Fuck you! By the way, I know this dungeon has to be seeded specifically because we have a medical herb in our inventory. Exactly one. And the reason, and part of the thing I know about that is because you know for a fact that attack was guaranteed because of this. Your hero has a symptom. Diseases begin with symptoms, which are more gentle than the fully contracted diseases. Disease kit provision items can be used to remove the symptoms or lessen the effects of evolved diseases, barring few exceptions. Diseases can only be removed at the clinic. So, long story short, rather than immediately getting a disease now, you get a weaker form, and have to deal with that first, or you can wait and it can get worse. Like real life. We also got some... Oh, damn! Motherfucking thaumaturge! That had a chance to inflict a fucking disease, or I guess a symptom in this case, and deals 15 points of blight damage over 3 turns? What the fuck? Well, fuck you too, I guess. Okay, let's just, yeah, I want standard ammo. I want standard ammo on those two to start. Ah, we missed the debuff. That sucks. Oh, they did. I don't even have to break the guard. They didn't even guard the person I thought they would. Formation, so that's going to be a buff. Yeah. Oh, also something to note, just if you're playing Darkest Dungeon or if you're playing Black Reliquary, any buffs that are specific to a unit on the field that is being given out will always be in this special, like, slightly outlined buff icon, if I'm not mistaken. And then all the other buffs will be in something else. So that's how you know what you would be removing if you killed the guy. More prots in position 1, more speed in position 1, and just more prots. That's not good. So yeah, more prots in position 3, more speed in position 3. So long story short, as long as those guys remain in position, they get more powerful. So, obviously... Ah, that was a dodge! Oh, my soul! My soul, it hurts! Hey, at least debuff the person I wanted to debuff. Armor piercing? I believe we still need the armor piercing on this. Yes, we do. Hit them with all you got. That's on the low end, but it's fine. We can still deal enough damage. Thank you for missing. Thank you for dodging, actually. That wasn't a miss. That was a dodge. There is a difference in Darkest Dungeon between a miss and a dodge. It mainly just depends on how it calculates it, but... Was that 2 crits in a row? That was 2 crits in a row, wasn't it? Ow. I'm going to guard Boudica. Would Sacrificial Stab have even a chance? But it might get... Sacrificial Stab should guarantee they die. Like, if it's investing 2 actions to kill someone, but it's also investing 2 actions to kill someone. Like, if Boudica can't kill them, then things could get worse because they are a support unit. I mean, they definitely tried to kill them. That was damn close. They would have killed them, but we couldn't have known that. Well, all things being the same, obviously, we don't know exactly how the dice roller system works for the game. We'll also try to either move or stun the grunt. Because if we move them, this person should be out of position. They're out of position to do their caustic impact, at least, which is probably their strongest. If we stun them, the guard gets broken. If we move them, they can't do anything. We only stunned them, but that's still good. That got rid of the, Let's change to shrapnel, because I think they're gonna get at least a turn off, and I think it'll be worth it. I think I should just stab them. I think that'll be worth it. They're 1 less. I might have killed them with the other one. But they are dead now. Like, this is the last move they get. Because this guy, I'm almost certain, cannot heal them. So now we just have to deal with the grunt and recovery.
An agonizing death, slow and measured.
Stop hitting my guys. I know I'm literally killing you, but stop hitting my guys. Also, right now, just because I'm not sure if we have another fight, 0 to 26. 0 to 26. Now, why am I saying that? Because we've gotten 0, 2, 10 from a crit, meaning it's probably either 7 or 5. I can't remember exactly how it does it. Can't remember if it's double or like 50%. And 0. We have not gotten in the double digits for the base amount this heals. This entire time. We have not gotten. For reference, assuming they're weighted the same, we should have had like 2 13s by now, effectively. Because 13's the midpoint. 13's actually on the low midpoint. Fuck you too, weird reconstruction. And this is why I don't like occultists. Sorry, I want to like occultists, but my luck refuses to let me like occultists. I got so scared for a moment, because if you played Darkest Dungeon long enough, you fear the Quark gain sound. But no, that was a good one. Well, good-ish. They are locked in, so that might replace. That might make it so we can't get something better.
Performance for now. Keep it up.
Let's neutralize the poison. Have everyone eat, because I physically can't have enough hunger checks that it bothers us at this point. Because you only have one hunger check per hallway, and I'm not going all the way back up to go through this hallway. I'm just not. There might be something there, but most hall curios aren't worth as much as room curios, and I'm not sure how much. You know what? For studying the test, let's give the occultist. It won't break their brain more. Holy shit, that actually worked. Catacombs Explorer. What is the Explorer? Trap Disarm chance? And interacting with trapped nodules and catacombs successfully gives buffs. Oh! By the way, one other thing that I really like about Black Reliquary, it tells you what the fuck they do. What do I mean by that? Negative and positive quirks in normal Darkest Dungeon don't tell you what they do. Like, Diffident would just say, by the way, they have also added a lot, if I'm not mistaken, and reworked a lot, but it would just say poor sense of self-worth. And that would be all the information you would have on it unless you looked it up on Wikipedia. Or not the Wikipedia, the game, whichever, game Wikipedia you will have. This tells you in that gray text there, yeah, this is what this does. Play around it. You won't get surprised by anything here.
No challenge is without its barriers, both proverbially and be more careful.
I'm sorry! I gave myself more scouting chance to try and scout a trap, and we didn't scout. There's little I can do at that point. Because you literally, for reference, at least as far as I know, if you don't scout a trap, that's it. Like, you can't, be careful, walk slowly, and keep an eye on the ground and see them. No, it's just literally impossible. You will get hit at that point. We also have honing oil. I will use the honing oil, since it's the only use it's going to have. And if I recall correctly, it's just more armor piercing, which, funnily enough, only one person cares about in this fight, because these aren't Levantine or whatever. These are, if I recall correctly, part of the Lost Legion. I mean, you'd have to guess because Lost Legion spawn check shows up with higher torch, and these guys have candles and shit. They like the light. Yeah, they like the light. Oh yeah, they like. What the hell am I doing? Anywho, I mean, it debuffs their accuracy. I don't even really want to do that if it doesn't debuff their. I think I just want them to suffer some damage. Yeah. Indignant Rally. Why do you get an attack on round 1? I know for the reference, by the way. I was about to say, why do you get an attack on round 1 that deals 6 damage? I did that to 3 of them, so honestly fair. Your hero is expiated. New statuses are applied in combat from both friends and foes, such as Amberblight, Expiation, and Enraged. Debuff targets... Amberblight debuffs targets damage received or dealt based on their last action. Expiation damages the target on their next 3 attacks while healing the opposing party on the first one. So the first time you attack, the enemy party gets healed and you get damaged. The next 2 times you attack, you just take damage. And Enrage provides target with health and buffs upon killing their enemies. There are more statuses like that, which are applied by some specific enemy factions. Hover over the status icon on an effective target for more information. So yeah, expiated. Let's read through the specifics. Triggers on a non-killing attack. So if you kill with your attack, it doesn't matter. Also, if you don't attack, it doesn't matter, because if I recall, this does not trigger on support abilities. Completes upon triggering 3 times, which means it removes itself. On first trigger, heals enemies for 10% of their maximum HP. Not a flat amount, their maximum HP. Debuff enemies for minus 20% healing received from expiated for a battle. That is there mainly so that expiated doesn't go endless. At, you know, if expiated has triggered 5 times on the enemy, for reference, 5 times on the first trigger, not on the subsequent ones, then they gain no more healing from it, so the battle will end. And on trigger, deals 4 damage to self, or 6 damage if they're pagan. That was on our occultist. Enough said. They're only doing support abilities now. That's Bello. I think I want Amber Cares the Mendicant Friar. Oh, so I didn't reset the default party order. Oh no, that does count. Oh wait, no, that is an attack. God damn. I forget that the Amber Blight thing's an attack. Okay, I use it as a debuff. I forget it's an attack. That's the 2nd time this episode. And it won't be the last! Now, reconstruct yourself. Thank you. Thank you. You've slightly redeemed yourself. Standard shot on the Friar. Low damage, but we still get the lead. I did the standard shot there because I don't actually believe we can kill the Friar on this turn. But I do want to deal with the Friar as soon as possible. Or, sorry, I did the shrapnel shot on the standard shot. I did the standard shot with shrapnel ammo. God, so it's gonna get hard to describe some of this stuff. They're dead as long as they don't heal, so as long as Barrison doesn't attack, which they're not going to. I'm probably just gonna have them defend, only to gain prots. Or, you know what, I'll bellow with Barristan. Okay, bellow counts as an attack. For that sake of that. Well, at least we can see the changes to Death's Door now! When a hero is reduced to 0 HP, they're at Death's Door. Heroes start with the maximum amount of death they will resist. Now. Because I feel like this is going to come up. You're never meant to leave someone on Death's Door. But occasionally you have to. And when that happens, they have a chance of dying. Now, in the base game, the chance changes and adjusts. But in Black Reliquary, it starts at, if I recall correctly, 87% for all players. Okay? I want this to be said. 87% for all players. 13% chance of death if they get hit again. I'm never trusting that. It's happened too often. And I know sometimes, but the first trigger will kill them. I'm just assuming that. First, partially because you just should assume that as a general rule, so you don't get that happening to you as much. You know, mitigate the bad as much as you can. Just know. Like, you saw my weird reconstruction rolls. Heroes start with the maximum amount of death losses. While in the state, they suffer stat penalties, plus any further damage has a chance to kill them. I do love, by the way, you know, Death's Door, Death Blow, and all that is in red. But chance to kill them is in, like, positive yellow. I know stat penalties is as well. Heals in yellow as well. This is just some weird... Successive attacks received on and attacks that bring heroes to Death's Door lower their death blow slightly for an extensive duration. Heal them to get off Death's Door. Let's see what the specific... It wasn't the first hit. By the way, I was gonna check what the death blow changes were. 32 turns for less death blows. Just it does start at 87, by the way. Let's heal the. Okay. Al-Hazred, please. I need you to heal them at least one. That's at least one. Thank you. Also, they get mortality for the quest, which makes them weaker if they get on death's door. They just get mortality, which is just less accuracy, less damage, less speed, and less stress, and more stress received. Out of all the characters that could have that, the Man-at-Arms, fine. I'm actually fucking livid that Bellow counts as an attack. I guess it does say range, so I could have guessed it, but I forget constantly because it literally does no damage. See that? Damage mod minus 100%. It's also just screaming at someone. Like, out of all the things, I forget it's an attack. I'm gonna have to make a note to myself. Anywho, let us go over to the, no, it's the standard, no, it's the concussive, no. Wait, no, it's on this one. Which ammo am I on? Shrapnel? I don't know. I think it's shrapnel. It is shrapnel. Let's make them just suffer 6 damage. Suffer! Suffer! Die, you fucking priest of hell! Thank you for dodging, Barristan. You're gonna be put on. No! We might lose Barristan. We're probably gonna lose Barristan. We're almost certainly gonna lose Barristan. Oh, they live! They fucking live! Let's just stun this person so we get less actions on the enemy team. I know you're on death's door, okay? I want to help you. I really, really do. But it's very difficult at the moment. We only have one healer. We don't have an off healer, and they're very unreliable. Thank you, Al-Hazred. Thank you, Al-Hazred. They're dead. We just gotta deal with big... Stop hitting bear... Is that the only person you can target with that? No, no. Hammer Faith can target another person. They just really don't want to. I want you to move. Can you move? Oh, okay, they didn't move. I actually wanted to move more than the stun there because the move meant that, God damn it, they're back on death's door because of me being stupid. Okay, thank you, Al-Hazred. You've been good enough at the moment. But specifically because I wanted, Margaret to be able to hit them. The only thing they can hit them at the moment with is Bombard. I will make them their dodge and accuracy lower though. Because I just don't want them to hit as much. Oh, I missed. Oh, for reference, by the way, I talked about this a little bit earlier. There's a difference between dodge and miss in this game. A miss is when your character did not hit them. A dodge is when your character did hit them, but their the dodge chance of the enemy came into play and they dodged it. Or on your side, they dodged it. So there is a difference, although in actual use, it matters little, if any. Functionally, it's the same. It's just some semantic things. It also does actually tell you when, like, if you're doing a dodge build, when that's actually mattering. Which is nice. That's not something you usually get. In most games. Usually you just get miss. Okay!
Another skirmish, another step forward.
Jesus fuck. That was a short mission, I want to point out. And I know I was explaining stuff a lot, but like, that was an hour for a short mission. God damn, Black Reliquary. Completing a quest. After you've completed the requirements of a quest, you have the option to return a Flameseeker at any time. Just click the quest. You don't need to return to the start and remove the dungeon exit. Yeah, let's return to our airship. Let's return to the coffin. I know it's Flameseeker, but like that was the name of the save file, and usually you name a manor, so I'm calling it a fucking coffin. The coffin. We are returning to the coffin. Not great. Not honestly decent loot. I don't know how exactly this game's doing. Loot. Hey, they're all at level 2 if I just saw that right. Heroes gain resolve XP for each success, blah 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 blah. XP. It's XP. You know how XP works. Oh, more death blow resist. So Boudica should have a really low chance of dying on that first hit. Watch them be the first to die.
It is difficult to describe exactly what this land means to me.
By the way, I saw this before and I found it really weird they put this here. But most abilities on heroes have seen some adjustments made to their stats and design. Some of these changes are minute and some are significant. I could be wrong, but actually I think I auto-corrected that. I think that actually says minute instead of minute, but I could be wrong. It could be spelled the same, or I could just be misremembering how minute spelled. Either way, several abilities have also been replaced entirely, but here's the important part of this one. Area of effect abilities now have a negative crit modifier. So they have 40% less, 60% less, or 70% less crit, depending on how many targets they have. That being said, let's look in the ferry very quickly.
A small band of fighters will not suffice.
And obviously, we're just going to recruit everyone in the start.
Are indispensable qualities in these lands.
Obviously, we can upgrade the ferry to increase heroes available in the future and stuff like that. And they are recommending it, so I will increase the number of available heroes. That being said, I'm going to put Barristan... I can't even... Oh, I forgot to tend their fucking cough. Generate resources while you're on a quest. Remember to put heroes to work weekly to keep up your resource gain. From there, yeah. So what they're telling us there is, they want us to refine the amber, is what they're telling us there. So we actually need someone to do that constantly. I'm gonna put Barristan in the clinic, because... What's the cough? Yeah, that's lower system and disease resistance, less dodge. That symptom and disease resist. That was the forge. I was going to burn away his illness and him. Where's the clinic? Where's the clinic? There it is. It's the only part of the ship that isn't like its own thing. It's just on the dock. No, that's... Let's get this dealt with. Because you've got to care for your heroes. I could abandon them, but it's just the start of the game. Also, I think... Al-Hazred, you can go in there, because I think we're going to want... Sorry, I was gonna say, I think we're gonna want, the next party to include the Vestal and the Crusader, who I believe cannot spawn as Pagan. Yeah, can't spawn as Pagan. Can't spawn as Pagan. But the thing that's making me laugh, and I think this actually is... accurate to the lore of Darkest Dungeon original, if I'm not mistaken. At least for the Vestal, if I'm not mistaken. But both of them spawn Faithless. The most, like, religious classes in the game, apart from the fucking, Flagellant. And they both are Faithless. Whew. Anywho. I am going... to stop this episode here, and this is going to be the end of my recording session as well, because I am out of practice for talking this long, so my voice is, like, my throat is shot, and I need to plan exactly how the next party is going to be put together, and then probably record that tomorrow. I don't know when this is going out. I don't know if this is going out even. I might not, but let's hope. So, I'm the Mass Spectre. Like video, like, dislike if didn't like, comment, blah 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 blah. You know all the stuff. You've heard it a million times by now, surely. Anywho, goodbye.